this morning, but he didn't have to leave his easy chair to see the movies, I guess. We got The Tomorrow War and No Set and Move, both online, right?
Both online, yes. Let's start off with The Tomorrow War. This premieres today on Amazon Prime. It stars Chris Pratt. The basic plot line is Chris Pratt in this movie, he's a biology teacher and former military. At the beginning, we see that people from 30 years in the future come back to tell the world that they are losing a battle against aliens who have invaded Earth. And what they need is that they need people from the present day to go to tomorrow, as it were, to help fight off these aliens. Otherwise, literally, the entire human species will become extinct. That's the basic plot line. And the world sets up a draft, and eventually Chris Pratt is drafted to go to the future. And of course, in the first, you know, it being Chris Pratt, he's in great shape. In the first 15 minutes, they had to have a scene without his shirt on. It was like literally in his contract, and they had it in there. There you see J.K. Simmons plays his father, who is estranged, also with a military background. And what happens is... There it is. You saw it. I told you.
Matthew McConaughey has that same clause in his contracts.
Same thing, exactly. But, you know, of course, they go into the future and they fight these aliens that are just downright scary, that they call them white spikes because they spit out from their technicals, I can never say the word right, spikes of, you know, bone that kill people. And all these amateurs, frankly, have to fight these aliens in the future. Look, that's kind of a preposterous sounding plot, but it kind of works. Look, this is a summer action film with, you know, with one of the biggest action stars in the world, Chris Pratt. There's some other great supporting characters, Sam Richardson, Yvonne Stravosky, I think is her last name, round out the cast. Yvonne plays a colonel in the future who's trying to, frankly, save the world. This is just a fun, you know, big budget blockbuster kind of summer movie we're kind of used to. It's not the, you know, not the best in terms of character development, and there are a couple of plot holes, and it does go, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes, so it is a little bit long, and it actually has 2 climaxes. You think it's over, but then there's more to go. But look, I enjoyed it for what it was. I give this movie an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, not bad.
I do have a hard time buying him as a biology teacher, though. Just saying.
Exactly.
All right, so No Set and Move.
This is a new movie premiering on HBO Max today. Has an all-star cast with Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro. Basic plot line at the beginning of the movie, Benicio del Toro and Don Cheadle Kirkin Culkin are hired to, frankly, kidnap a family at the beginning of the film. What they do is they go to the family's house, they keep the mom and the 2 kids there, and they send their dad to work to pick up a document that everybody wants to get a hold of this document. It's 1954 Detroit, and as we come to learn, I won't give anything away, but this document has something to do with new technologies with cars, and everybody wants to get their hand on it. But what happens is things go awry while everybody's trying to get a hold of this document that could literally change the face of the automotive industry. And there are just constant twists and turns and double crosses as Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro just try to keep their head above water. It's clear that they're in above their heads. They're kind of mid-level, low-level, you know, gangsters, but they're just trying to get out of it alive and, frankly, trying to get as much money out of it as possible. Steven Soderbergh directed this film. He's a fantastic director. He did things like the Ocean's 11 series, Out of Sight, and some other just wonderful films. And here he's also, you know, just fantastic in his directing abilities. At times, I will say the plot, you got to really pay attention and listen closely so you can understand the plot, because it just sort of throws you right into it. So you got to keep up with who's who. You know, why is Brendan Fraser in it? You know, what is Matt Damon makes an appearance toward the end. So it is, you have to pay attention. John Hamm and others, but this is just a very well done kind of a caper gangster movie where you can't really trust anybody because everybody's trying to get a hold of this money that will change their life. I enjoyed this movie. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, it's a pretty good rating there, 8.5. So the document. Was it the recipe for flying cars?
In 1954.
That's what people were thinking. We'll be flying before 2000.
You never know, yeah. But it's a good movie, and it's on HBO Max, so if you don't feel like going out, you can stay home and watch 2 good films on television today, this weekend.
Pretty good films there, Michael. This one. It's not rated since it's on Prime. What would you give it though?
In terms of
like a PG-R?
Oh, it's a violent movie in terms of.
So it's R, not even 13?
I'd say PG-13. I mean, there's gore, there's blood, there's death.
But it's alien blood, right?
It's alien blood, but they do kind of hide parts of it. But it is PG-13. This one is a little bit, a little bit more violent.
Yes, it's going to be. I can imagine that. All right, thanks a lot, Michael. All right, let's go check.